All right. Wait.
Got it.
Oh, I was gonna say I gotta put my phone on silent, but I'm using my phone. I like did not plan properly for this at all. Like, didn't
No?
I have all of my I have my video camera, I have my picture camera, I have my phone, I have Polaroid, but I didn't bring my mic, I didn't bring any. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but honestly, I think this is a good um what am I trying to say? Like a good exercise for not taking it too seriously or like
Yeah.
not working myself up because I think this is good. I think I'm chilling. Except
Yeah, I
don't
feel like
have.
we're both like being cozy. Like I'm just being on the couch. You got your bed right here. Like,
Oh my gosh, yeah. This this I so yesterday okay, so we've been here for what a couple let's
yeah,
kick
how
this off.
is Seattle now?
Yeah, okay, wait, let's kick this off real quick. So
Sure, sure.
welcome to Missin the Homies. This is the show where I bullshit with my homie Steve. Welcome back. And we're
What's up?
signing off for the month.
I know. Sorry, I missed one. I had an exam.
Hey, it's all right. I I thought it was so funny when you're like, wait, you wanted to do another one? I was like, ah. I even thought like when I explained it to you, I was like, damn, I thought I did a good job of explaining what this is, but I guess not. So I don't have
It's
my
my fault.
Bev. So Steve, you wanna hit that crack for?
All right, let me get it closer to the.
We're in Seattle for Nay has a conference, and I
Oh,
tagged
also,
along.
isn't it her birthday? Happy birthday to her,
Yeah,
right?
today's her birthday. Yeah, she's in her conference right now. So
Nice.
we decided that to celebrate tonight, we're gonna do dinner and go see the Taylor Swift movie, the Eras movie.
Nice.
So
You'll
I'll
love
get
it.
to relive what you already went and saw. How was that, by the way?
That was good. Because we saw the movie like as well, right?
Oh, no, 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 I didn't.
Okay, I didn't know like if that was told to you or not. So like, what was it when that was told to and like first came out to like be on sale those tickets?
For the
Maria just
movie or for the
for the
concert?
movie. So Maria just like bought some up and we went to the AMC in Livonia, I want to say. So we went out there. It was Jewel, Maria, and Andrew, and me and Melanie. So we went and saw that because we had all gone to the concert besides Andrew. So he's the first one like actually like living through this, but he's been listening to like some of the songs and stuff. So then it's funny in
Oh,
like
to
the theater,
pregame?
he's like like screaming.
Okay, so how was the actual movie? Because I didn't go to the concert.
It's
Clearly,
almost kind of like
is it like a doc or
kind
is
of
it
like
like a
a
recap?
it's just a recap. It's not. It almost like feels like you're going into like a documentary, but it's just the actual show.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you're watching the concert,
Okay.
and
Because
that's what like two hours something like that. Because I think some things do get like cut out,
uh,
but I think it's close to that.
because I have seen like clips on TikTok of like girls going and screaming in the front row, and I'm like,
No, it
I don't want
happened.
to
There
see
were
that.
people like standing up in their seats. Thank God, actually, Maria bought like the back row seats because we just like didn't want to deal with that.
Oh my God. Okay, well, my whole goal for today is to get I'm on movie ticket duty, so I'm getting back row. But Nay was also like, yeah, all of the not as crazy fans will probably be seeing it now. I was like, is that what
I
you
don't
are?
know, I don't know. Because even if people go see the concert, they're like, oh, I want to go see the movie again too. So because it was funny. People were recording
The
like
movie?
the movie. Like with their phone, like just like parts of it, not the whole thing, but still,
Right.
like they would have their phones up, and then like people were like putting their flashlights on when they had like the lights and stuff, so it was all lit up. I'm like, oh my
Oh
god,
my God. So that's like, have you been to any of those movies where it has like a cult following or like I'm trying to think.
no,
What's the one
which
I
one?
know? Like The Room. Have you ever seen The Room?
Oh, isn't that that?
It's like
Wait,
the really It's like a really
wait.
weird Tommy Wiseau movie.
Yes, I had. Oh my god, that was so long ago. I was like trying to think about because I was thinking about for some reason Paranormal Activity. I thought you were talking about a horror thing, but I have seen The Room.
Oh,
God, that
The
was a long
Room.
time.
Isn't The Room the other one where they like that person gets kidnapped? I think there is a
I don't remember
horror.
the premise
I think there
anymore,
is
but
a
it's
horror
it's like
room
such
movie.
bad acting.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hi, Mark. But I guess The Room, from what I found out before the like doc of the movie, like people would go and they would like throw forks at the screen. Like you would come,
I think I did hear that.
which is crazy.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. The movie was weird, but it was honestly it because I saw the original and then I saw the Disaster Artist.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Okay, so there's The Room, which is like the
The
actual movie, and then the
Yeah, I saw
Disaster
that.
Artist is like the movie about the movie.
Oh, that's right. With what's his name?
James
James or
Franco,
is it James Franco or is it his little brother? Or is
one
it
of the
both of them?
Francos. I think it's
Okay.
James.
Yeah.
James is the older.
Yes, because oh god, what's the younger one's name?
Dave.
Yes, I can't
He's-
remember, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. But so okay, so it sounds like that kind of shit.
Kind of.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of excited for it.
I think
Because- because it like sounds like a sick concert. Like
I mean, if you like actually look at it from like a concert theatrical standpoint, it's a very good show. It's
Uh-huh.
probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. Like the just with the theatrics and all the technical aspects of it, it's really cool to like think about. Then me and Melanie were talking about it the other day because like one of the things that they're doing is like the whole floor is I don't even know what exactly to say, but it's so electronic and it has all these sensors on there. So when they're like riding their bikes or using props and stuff, it tracks the actual performer. It's just not like a staged thing. It's just like, oh, like when they're riding their bikes or something, like it's actually has a sensor on like the wheel and it's actually following that person. So it's not like a stage
Wow.
thing where they're like, oh no, I have to hit this marker. It's like, no, the
The
sensor is
sta-
going to do the stage and the sensors are doing that for you.
Whoa. So it's
Yeah,
like a-
so it is really cool.
that sounds sick. Okay, cool. Weird. Anyways,
So you'll see. You'll see.
yeah, I'm pretty pumped. If only, I mean, I love the movie. I love going to the movies. So like, if anything,
Yeah.
I'm just
I
excited
feel
for
like
that.
we don't really like go to movies anymore. You know what I
Really?
mean? Like, not often.
We're,
Besides, because like the last one we saw before that was then the Barbie movie because she wanted to see it, and I was like, okay, let's go.
did you see Oppenheimer too?
No, we did not.
Oh my God. Okay, so we did Barbenheimer. We did the double feature. It was good. It was a long day though.
Yeah, long movie.
So we went and we did Barbie at like 11, and then I got the tickets, so I like didn't plan it as much as I should have. But honestly, I think I did the right move because we saw
Really?
Barbie. Barbie finished. We ran across the street, got sandwiches. Nay got a coffee, and then we went right into Oppenheimer.
So at least you had like a little bit of a break to like go go out of the movie theater, go get something, come back. So how much time did you have in between?
We really had like 20 minutes.
Oh my
because because
You
we
were
were-
rushing.
Oh, we were like book, but I mean like it literally like the movie theater was like at one corner and kitty corner was Potbelly's. So like we literally just crossed the street.
Yeah.
But then after we left and I was like that was the rest of the day. We like went home
Right.
and I was just like I need to not look at a screen for
Exactly.
like a couple hours. So we just like went home. Have you ever done a double header at a theater?
No, I don't think I have. The only thing that like I've done and I do kind of regret it was like I think it was one of the Batmans when Christian Bale was doing it. I can't remember if it was like the third one, second one, but we saw it at like midnight. And of course these movies are like 3 hours long or like 2.5 hours long. So like I know I probably fell asleep at some points in that movie and I was like,
Oh yeah.
why did I do this?
The only other time I've done a double feature at the theaters was with Colin for his birthday, and it was, oh my God, we saw X-Men First Class, and then there was no break. We like saw the movie, and then we immediately walked to the next theater, and we went and saw Green Lantern, and I was like, at the end of the day, at the end of the movies, and like looking back, those are both like not super long movies, but they're both like.
But when you put them both together,
It's like 4 hours back to back, just sitting like burning into your eyes, crazy.
I know.
So I was like, yeah, I could definitely do it again. But Oppenheimer was.
Because isn't that movie alone like 3 hours?
That one was like, I think it was 3 and some change. It
Yeah.
was a long movie. It was really, really good, but it was like
sit through movies that are more than 3 hours now. But it's funny I say that, and then I'm like, oh, I can just watch like a show like for a few hours. You know what I mean?
dude,
Like binge it.
yesterday, so 2 days ago, so we got here and we're like, we don't really know what we're gonna do. So mine and Nae's like, we're like beer people. So like we're trying to find some craft beer. So we went to this island. It's called. Have you ever been to Seattle? Because this is my first time to Seattle.
Oh no, I actually wanted to go just to like go see it. Just because.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So we went to Bainbridge Island, which was like super where we're at. It's like maybe a 20-minute walk to the ferry, and then the ferry's like $9, and it's a 35-minute ferry, and you can like see the. Oh, actually, let's make this a full experience.
Yeah, because no, I can't remember, but yeah, doesn't the ferry like go like all the time?
Can you see this? Okay, this was us on the ferry. This is the ferry.
Well, I see your folder.
Oh, what? Son of a bitch. Okay, so can you see this?
Seattle edits. That's what I see.
Fuck. Okay, stop sharing that. Let's see. Let's try something else. Because I literally was messing with this right beforehand. This is what I'm saying. I don't know how I like do this all the time, and I'm like not. It still doesn't work. My buddy Tony, like when we were doing show and tell, he was like when we were doing it consistently. I was like constantly messing with like one piece. I was like messing with the camera or messing with the audio. And every single time we would start, I'd be like, okay, man, like it's all set. And every single time it was fucked. I have no idea how. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Okay, share, because I want. Okay, Seattle edits. Okay, optimize your video clip. Come on. Well, you can do this. Okay.
Maybe? No. Oh.
No.
I saw like a picture.
Why is it going for a second?
But it just keeps going to your folder.
Damn. All right. Whatever. I'll send you some pictures. But
Okay.
so it's been really, really pretty, especially to come like during the change of the season.
Yeah, I feel like fall would be perfect.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. But we did not pack accordingly.
No.
No.
Is it like colder, warmer, or what?
It's
Or is it
fucking
just raining.
cold. It's cold. So we looked up the weather and we're like, oh yeah, it'll be for like 50. So like both of us just packed like a light jacket. But we got on the ferry and we're talking to the concierge and they're like, yeah, make sure you like, they're like the top deck is the prettiest, but it's like kind of brutal.
Yeah.
And it was fucking brutal. It was brutal. Because I
Right,
like
it was
did
like 30 degrees or something.
it was like it had to be like 20 degrees or something. Like
Wow, yeah.
because we got here and we're like, let's go to Mount Rainier. We're never gonna be, not never, but like we're out here right now. We should go to the mountains, especially after seeing like Maria and Toast pictures. Like I was like,
Yeah.
that looked fucking beautiful. So I'm asking the concierge and I'm like looking at the weather and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be 20 degrees. And I was like, okay, never mind. We're not going. We didn't even pack hats. Like we had to buy a beanie
Oh my
there
God.
because we didn't pack properly.
Funny.
But so yeah, so it's been 2 days ago. we went to Bainbridge, we just like, we went to this little pub house on the water. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. But we got drunk. So yesterday was the first time in like, honestly, I don't remember how long. I like was so hungover in this bed all day. I must have watched like 40 YouTube comedians just back to back. It was crazy. And I was like, man, I kind of feel like a sack of shit. I just wasted the day, but I was like,
yeah,
kind of nice.
to just have like a weekend and not do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, my, it's been so nice because Nay is like at her conference, like actually trying to like pay attention. I was just a fucking zombie.
You're like, I'll just stay here.
Yeah, I was like, I should explore Seattle. Like Park Place Market is like right up the street, which I'd only heard about, but it was really, really cool. They have like, the fish is crazy. Just like, I forgot what I was gonna say. But it's really, really cool. So yeah, so I hung out all day, and then yesterday we went up to like a sunset park, and we're like, oh, whatever, it'll be like a 45-minute walk. Bro, that fucking walk was
incline
uphill. It wasn't like sort of like the walk. It was like a fucking 45-degree
Oh
angle.
my god. There wasn't like a tram or something that takes you up there?
We thought about it after. We're like,
Roads.
We're like, oh yeah. Well, because when we got there, it was packed, and there was just a bunch of people like parked right on that street. So I was like, yeah, everybody knew that this is not something you walk to, but it wasn't bad. It was super worth it.
That's good.
So yeah. Okay, so Steve, for these questions.
Prompts.
Okay, so literally
reminding myself a little bit.
Okay, so this month, in an effort to figure this out, I'm sorry, I'm like rambling, but I'm so excited.
Okay.
Also, like, I don't know why I was like, I was nervous, but I think just because we took a week off. Like, I'm so used to like getting into the swing of it. But ever since you and Melanie said like about this being like an interview, I was like, maybe it kind of is. But it's like,
I mean, yeah, you can always change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and so I mean, this show, podcast, whatever Missin the Homies is, it has changed so dramatically from what it started as. So I'm like, if people kind of already assume that it's like an interview, that like, I don't know, maybe I lean into it a little bit. I don't know. So this is like me giving you the prompts.
We're testing the new thing right now.
Steve, I'm constantly flying by the seat of my pants, and we're trekking new waters. Okay, so the 3 prompts I gave you. When was the last time you felt like a grown-up? What does being a grown-up mean to you? And the third one was sort of worded poorly, but
Just what series could you talk about like nonstop if you given a chance? But I think that's what it was.
Yeah, like series or like, okay, so the third one was more so a prompt from an old podcast that I did. And so what I would do is like, and that's where I had like, my uncle Mike was on it, and he talked about Adam and Eve. We actually did an episode in Adam and Eve, which was fucking awesome. It was really funny.
That's so hilarious.
And to me, it's so interesting because I mean, like my favorite thing is to hear people go on and on. Because I feel like
you talk about like something, like what you're interested in, you just kind of like go and ramble.
Yeah, I feel like, I am so easy to it's so easy for me to ramble and like
This is true.
Yeah, it's so, oh my gosh, yeah, you know. And it's and I feel
Also,
like
yeah, it depends on like what it is for the person. So I get the question.
yeah, and so I think but to me I find people's rambles so interesting. Like
Hmm.
finding what they ramble about like yeah, I don't know. So where do you want to start with these three?
I'll start with the first one. That's fine. When was the last time I felt most grown up? Honestly, it was probably recent where me and Melanie like got married when we bought the house and stuff. I don't know. There's like a few things because like I could even say yesterday when said started working at like City of Livonia doing lifeguarding classes, just being like an extra instructor because that was kind of my career for the past like 10 years before I've switched and started doing accounts payable for a different company and now doing my MBA and all that stuff. So like that was kind of the career path that I was taking because I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. So but it's kind of a twofold where it goes into that second question where it's like to me that to feeling like a grown up is more just like okay you're taking something that you want to do and you're just like thinking about it and taking the decision without like asking anyone, which is like if you really think about it like that is kind of like scary because you want to like ask your parents or ask like close friends or relatives like hey how did you like do that, like what made you decide to do whatever career path or buy that house or go meet that person or whatever. So it's like it is interesting because I'm always a person that likes to get advice from people,
Yeah.
but especially like I don't know, meeting Melanie and then we finding this house, like it I I guess I'm always just the person like after oh man, it must have been around when I started working at Washington because that was like my first like full-time job. And I read the question wrong when you sent it to me. I thought you asked like when was the first time you felt like a grown-up. That's what I was immediately thinking at
Ooh.
first.
Okay.
And I was like, oh no, actually probably that because I was I 26 or no, I was 25 turning 26 like that year, but I got that job like January of 2018 and something like that.
Because how old are you now? 20 or 28?
31.
Oh, you're 31. What the fuck am I talking about?
Okay,
Dude.
okay.
I mean, Steve, you have such a youthful glow.
I
Like,
know, just besides my gray hairs. So that's what to me it
oh
felt
my
like
God, you do.
at
You
that
do have a
time.
couple.
Yeah, right here, just a little bit. Which that's been just like the past 6 months to a year. I'm like, where did this come from? I don't even have kids yet.
So,
But
okay, so you're saying like your first job at Washtenaw, like,
yeah, because it was just my first full-time job, and I still was like trying to figure out just me as like, okay, where is the spot that like I want to be, like
yeah,
with my career, with life and stuff, because I don't know, for me, going to school and everything, I had changed my degree and my idea of like my career so many times. Oh my god, it's ridiculous how many times I changed it, and through college, even after college, and then even after that, and I'm still changing. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
nope, that's not working. Nope, and I got to change it again. And it
yeah,
kind of sucks because sometimes you feel like defeated, but then at the end of the day, like you I've felt like I've learned so much about myself and like certain coincidences that have happened in my life, because like how like I know that I got that job was because when I was with West Bloomfield, did like meetings where like through M Parks, like Michigan Parks and Rec Association,
yeah,
and you would like meet with people like in your
like
like area
district.
fields. Like mine was aquatic, so I did a
Okay,
lot of like starting and like swim lesson stuff. And so we would meet with other people that had full-time jobs, and at that time like that position at Washington had like was open, and I always kind of went into those meetings like, oh, I just want to meet like one new person because I've met a lot of people.
yeah,
I just like tried to network, and of course like the one person that's like sitting by themselves at like a table, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm Stephen, blah blah blah. I'm like, who are you? And that was my old boss. That was the person that I applied for that job, and I
Yeah.
didn't even like know her or anything. And then I, interviewed and got the job. You know what I mean? So it was interesting how like everything happens for a reason. And then same thing from me going from where I was in my last job to where I am now at
Yeah.
Rose. Like there's everything's happening in your life for a reason, for you to learn something,
Yes.
and you just keep growing. I think that's what I've learned over the years, and it might not always turn out the way you expect it. And now I'm like quoting Ted Lasso choppedly, but it'll always like turn out the way that you need it, in your life.
I think
That's what I've
that
learned, at least.
I think that's so um I don't know, I think that's such a like awesome way to look at things, because that's how I've like I mean, I almost one of the I was after I sent you those questions, I was like, ooh, I have a better one, but I didn't know how to like succinctly ask it. But I mean, like you sort of answered it. I was like, because when I think of like where I'm at right now, I
Mhm.
like think of like what are like what are the most interesting like things that have just happened that you're like, I don't know where this is gonna
Yeah.
lead, but like
And you don't know like how you got yourself to there, because I feel like that's the question a lot of people ask is like, how did you get to where you're at? And you're like, like, I
yeah,
don't know. It's
I
just kind of a zigzag. It's not like a straight line.
yeah, which is so crazy. I mean that I mean even that just like that is such like that makes me feel so much better, because I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I'm like kind
Yeah.
of trying to figure it out, and I mean like for such a long time I had such a hard time even with that zigzagging, like because I felt
Oh
like
yeah.
I felt super defeated like really quickly. Um, but like now I realize that like it's not a straight path. Um, but okay, cool. So then what would you say your most recent
So that's
grown?
what I mean is like most recent was probably yesterday, because I did a lifeguard instructor review course. So I'm a trainer, so I can teach people to be lifeguards, but I can also teach people how to be lifeguard instructors.
Gotcha.
I did that a couple years back, just because I wanted to do it as like an accomplishment for me. So even
Yeah.
like for me, like to do that, they weren't doing like any classes like in Michigan or Ohio or anything. In 2019, I had to fly out to San Diego to do it, because that was just
Oh
the only
shit.
time frame, the only place that it actually worked. And my boss was like, okay, yeah, go. I was like, okay.
Sick. Oh, that's
So,
so cool.
but it's just interesting how like who you get, because like yesterday I had what, 8, 9 people. Like one person I used to work with at Washtenaw, but like all of them were older than me. So it's always interesting, because like whenever I was in rec and like working with lifeguards and swim instructors, they were always younger than me,
Yeah.
15, 16-year-olds or like young 20. So like I was working with them as I was growing up, but then being in it for 8, 10, now, 10 plus years, then you meet these kids and they're like, oh yeah, I'm 15. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like twice your age. You know what I mean? And then you meet people that have been doing it for even longer than you have. And
Yeah.
so like, it is just interesting that, all of them are older, and they all know how they like to teach it, but we're all still learning
Learning.
something. You know what I mean? So that was, I think that's always like the coolest thing, is the people that are always open to like learning things from other people. That's what I liked about it, because we would sometimes do trainings where like I would go to like somebody's facility and see how they did things, and then even though we're all doing the same thing, we all do it differently. I think that was the part that was like so interesting, but everyone has a different facility.
Yeah.
So that's what I liked about it, because I like the discussion that they have, kind of like what you're doing with me with
Yeah.
this podcast. I liked doing that with them, to just be like, oh, what have you learned over the years, and what information would you like to share with each other? So I kind of like that dialogue with them, and I think they get a lot out of it.
Interesting. Do you feel like you're somebody who's constantly like looking to be learning more, or are you like
Oh yeah, I like to.
Well, I mean, you're doing your MBA right now. Like that's to me, like that, because I was always somebody who was like, once I get out of college, I'm never gonna go back. But like I've always loved
I
learning. But
Yeah, I like learning once I grew up because
mhm,
for me I was like, oh, I just don't like homework and but I like learning. I like learning like new things. But like right now it's hard right now because I have two hard classes, but
right.
like, I still like learning new things, whether it's something around the house, cooking, or just like a new skill, like looking something up on YouTube or reading my lectures or something.
How,
So I like doing that, like actually understanding something new.
how did you, okay, so you said like earlier you said getting married and buying the house felt very grown up too. What was the, because I mean you guys got married in July.
With July of
I
2022,
Yeah,
yeah, last year.
July of last year. So within
We got
July,
engaged a year, pretty much a year before that.
so like within 3 years, went from engaged, married, house. How
Mhm.
like
I know,
did you
because
like? But like taking a step back, did it ever like hit you and you're like, wow, yeah, like I'm like Renee says all the time. She's like, I feel like I need to be asking somebody to be doing this, and like just to like be an adult. And I like feel like that sometimes too. I'm like,
or like, are they asking her like adult questions? She's like, who me?
not
I
even
feel
that. She
like.
Renee is like constantly like, not constantly, but she says it way more succinctly than me, and is just like, I feel like I should be checking with somebody. And I don't know, I guess I don't think about it that much. Like my big decisions just sort of feel like natural progressions, like moving in with Renee during the pandemic. It like, to me, after the fact, I mean, even like in the moment, felt like a big decision, but it didn't.
You don't feel like until after it happens.
Yeah, sort of. So I was just, I don't
That's
know.
such a hard one because sometimes you're just like, yeah, like it just makes sense. I think I'm more like the logical kind of a thinker kind of a person. So I'm like, okay, does this make sense to do that, or am I just in my head? So
Right. So
that's
I guess
that's the
that's what I'm
big thing.
asking. Do you have that thought beforehand, or do you have it after, where you're like, yes, like take marrying Melanie for a minute, which I think is like, this is also, we could have talked about this for a whole nother month, because I also think it's so interesting that like, not that there's anything wrong with Melanie. Like I love Melanie, but like, such a different version of Melanie than I know. And I was
Right, right.
like, just that concept literally was like going around in my head the whole month. I was like, that would be so interesting. But like beforehand, where you're like thinking it out, or were you like, no, like Melanie's my person, and then after the fact you're like, wow, that was kind of like a big decision.
It is. I think for me, and I think we both were at that point because I think that was just looking for somebody to be like at the same point in life in, and at that point, I don't know, maybe when I was like, yeah, 25, 26, like especially like getting into like my full-time job and stuff, really kind of just like, okay, I want to find somebody to spend my life with. Like I like to always hang out with friends and stuff and doing things out like for fun. But at the same
Hmm.
time, I was like, no, I want to be like out of my parents' house. Like I'm ready to be like on my own. And I just wasn't finding that until I met Melanie. And it's funny that you say that because like yesterday was 4 years since our first date. So it's just like so funny because I don't know how to like say it, but it just felt different, you
Hmm.
know. Um, when we were like talking, when we would just hang out, when we go on dates and stuff, like it was just different and it was just nice and it just to me it felt like easy. Like we were on the same level of like what we wanted in life,
You
where
guys
we
were on the same
were.
wavelength.
Yeah, so that was the thing for me. I was like, and especially once I started meeting like some of her family, like her parents and her siblings, and like some extended family, like on your guys' side, that was like, oh, like for me, it was like when we like I think went to like one of the metro parks and just like hung out, because I was just like, okay, when we when me and my family go see my cousins like in the summer, like once a year, like this is the exact same thing we do. We just like we all come bring food, we all just hang out, and we all just
Yeah.
enjoy each other's company. And so it was like some of those like just like little progressions that I was just like, yeah, she's my person.
Oh, see, like that's okay. So it hit you beforehand. So did you, I guess,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
have that, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, and yeah, I can say it like that now, but at the time I don't know
I
if I
guess
was like fully
did you even
ready
think about
until I
it?
was starting to meet the family. I was like, okay, no, because she made it a big thing that like meeting my siblings and meeting my family is like a big thing. And I mean, she even said it to me. She's like, if my siblings do not like you, like this is not probably gonna keep going forward. And I was like, oh, okay, this is very serious. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, yeah, her siblings were fun. They were great people. And no, I think this is good.
Oh, wow, that's so like. So I guess in that moment, like when because I mean that's like a hard line for her. Were you thinking about it that deeply at that point? Were you like,
Yeah, yes
this
and
is
no. You know what I mean? Like, yes,
yeah,
like it was a big thing. I was like, okay, I'm meeting them, but at the same time, I was like, oh yeah, this is a big step for her.
yeah.
I was
But
like, no,
I
I
guess
have to take this seriously.
did it feel like that for you? Did it feel like, whoa, this
I
is
think
like
so. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
so interesting. I love that because I've just like I feel like recently have been feeling like grown up.
Right.
Uh, I don't know, like buying the house, or buying the condo was like I think like I that first day we were in it, I was just like, wow, this is our this is our place, and that's when I really was like, I don't have to like. I should have asked. Maybe I should have asked somebody about this, and then I'm like, no, like this is my decision. This is like my decision, but I think
Right.
it's so interesting.
Yeah, just being like accountable for it, saying like, okay, like now that I've made the decision, like I need to follow through with it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I guess what I'm wondering, because the way I have been feeling it recently is like with the house, for example. Um, I like I almost always have my big like, oh wow, this is like a real grown up decision after the fact. Like while we
Mhm.
were looking for things, I was just like, yeah, this is like I can't think about it now because if I think about it, like the things that need to get done won't get done. So like,
Because when we were trying to buy the house, like it didn't feel real until like we actually were closing on one. You know what I mean? So like it just didn't feel real, because we were just like, okay, we're gonna go see them, we're gonna go look, maybe make an offer, but we knew that people were gonna outbid us. We just like knew. So we were like, okay, maybe it might work, or I don't know, maybe that's how it felt for me, because you would try not to get like your hopes up, a
yeah,
little bit, but like there were times where people offered like 40,000 more than the asking price, and I'm like,
crazy.
sorry, I'm not paying that.
Yeah, we're not.
You know what I mean? So it was just crazy. But when it was funny, I was also doing like another like class, but obviously it was a while ago. The person like they outbid or something. I can't remember what it was, but we didn't win. And then they had like buyer's remorse. I don't know why, but they backed out. And so then Donnie called Melanie, and then Melanie called me, being like, "Do you want it? Because we have to make the decision like right now." And we were
Yeah,
like, okay, let's do it." And so that was the big decision moment, because I wasn't in love with it at first, but I knew that we could make it really nice. So
Yeah.
I knew the potential for it. I think just like looking at it at first, I mean, you've seen like old photos of it too. Like it was like, oh, okay, like for this, yeah, like yes and no. So I was like back and forth, and again, I kind of like, okay, do we make this decision like for this one? Like you always go back and forth. Like, is there going to be something better? But I don't know if there is. You know, like,
I see. Well, I think it's interesting for you to say that because when we walked into our condo, um, like our last apartment, me and Renee were arguing the day we were going to see it. So like we both walked in, and I maybe looked at the place for like 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, this is fine. I don't care. Like I'll sign it. And we wound up like loving the place. Like I like love our second apartment. But when we walked into our condo, when we pulled up and we were so close to the lake, in my head I like already was like, okay, well that's like one tick in the positive for me. And then almost as soon as we walked in, I was like, I like kind of looked at Renee. I was like, I think this is the place. I think like this is it.
No like red flags or anything. You're just like, no, this is it.
Yeah, and I think that might just be me. I don't think it's not that I don't think about there being red flags, is that I feel like the red flags are whatever the red flags wind up being will not be
They won't be like deal breakers.
Yeah. And I was not even thinking about red flags. We like walked through, I was like, yeah, I love this place. This place is awesome. And like, as we like checked every room, I was like, I love this place even more. And then it wasn't until after, and I think it was when we finally got the keys. Cause when we closed, we didn't get the keys for like another couple of weeks, another 2-3 weeks. And it was once we finally had the keys and we had like our first night in there, like I like not like so it like didn't keep me up, but like I was laying there at night and being like, wow, like we just bought a home. Like that's
especially when you spend like the first night there.
Yeah, that was like it was weird. It's weird. So yeah. Okay, well I think that's so interesting to like hear that's where you're at. Okay, so the last question, real quick. We could
Oh yeah, true. We didn't actually answer this question yet.
We didn't, which is so funny because that's that's normally what this entire
that question.
That's normally what the whole show is based on. Like my friend Stassi. Not that I like to boil people down to one thing, but I feel like people normally have one thing that they could go on and on and on about. Like my friend Stassi was Twilight the first time and then Stranger Things the second time. And like, I don't know. I love seeing people ramble because I ramble. And you already agreed to it before.
I already agreed to it.
So
I have to go like back and forth on things because I was more thinking when you wrote it down like movies or books or whatever. I was kind of thinking it that way, but I guess it depends for me on certain things. And
it doesn't have to be those things that I suggested. Those are just like I feel like those are typically like what I hear people go on and on about. But like I don't know. I could like. Renee could go on and on and on about reproductive health. And like, I could sit there and listen to it just because of how excited and animated she is. But like, I don't know, people get like that over fucking Star Wars all the time. Like, I get like that over Marvel.
I feel like Melanie is with that, like with her job, like just interacting with the certain people that she interacts with, whether it's her associates who she supports or like the managers that she's trying to support, like when they're wanting things, and it kind of goes like back and forth. So it's always interesting to like hear her world, because I'm like, what do you mean?
Wait, who? So what would you say, like you have a whole day and you're like, okay, you're having a Steve day. Say
This is
here,
nothing.
well, here, let me paint the picture even better. Say you're hungover in a hotel room and you have access to the internet. What are you watching videos? What are you trying to like what are you trying to consume? What information are you trying to consume? Because you just think
I don't
it's
know. I feel like it's all it comes in waves of like what my interests are in at the time. Because like I would say it's Star Wars because of just me being involved or me watching a bunch of it recently, just because of like the different series that are out. But then I started thinking about that more. I'm like, well, I wasn't. I liked Star Wars growing up, especially like the prequels, but I don't know, like I didn't like own any of the movies or anything.
right.
And really I started getting into it more when Disney Plus came out and they were like, okay, yeah, we have them. I was like, oh, now I can actually like watch it because I felt like I always watched like clips, like not the full thing of like the 4, 5, and 6, but I know
Yeah.
I watched 1, 2, and like I know I went to the movies and saw 1, 2, and 3 when they came out when
Yeah.
I was young. And I was like, oh, these are amazing. But then to actually like see the different dynamics and different stories from just all the different characters, I think that was the coolest thing, that they're still doing things.
So
um
I hit it on the head. It's Star Wars. Is Star Wars
yeah,
your thing?
that or like yeah, it's I don't know, it goes in waves because like then we talk about like video games and stuff, and I know I'm on kind of like a big high with that because I've been watching a lot of the video for like the new Spider-Man. But
Oh
I
my
could
gosh.
the next week be on something else, or like the Lego Star Wars sets that I'm like building or something, you know what I mean? So it's like it could
Ooh, what?
it could always change. I don't know.
So okay, so then I guess because honestly, that's how I feel too. I have a million things. I've always, for the life of me, I have said, for as long as I can remember, I've always said that like you need a hobby. If you don't
Hmm.
have a
Me
hobby,
too. Me too.
you're gonna like you're gonna lose your mind. And like I have always been interested in a lot of things, and I've always like to like mess with things. So like I love having a hobby. Like I love building Legos. But so I would say my interests ebb and flow pretty heavy. Have you been watching Spider-Man videos? Spider-Man 2?
So like the guy that I sent you, like I just have just been watching kind of like the walkthroughs, and it's just blown my mind like what they've done with it, because almost each video there's something like new that you're learning that you can do. So I was like, oh wow, like, and people are saying it's like the best one of the year. I'm like, okay, really is like there's just so more things that like keep surprising me that they've done, and I'm
It
like,
looks
oh,
so
like
cool. It looks
I,
so
I
so
think
cool.
that's the thing that I love the most, is because sometimes when you play a video game or something, like there's always something that you're like, oh, it just falls short because of like this reason, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I just keep watching, and I'm like, wow, they really did pay
They
attention, and they like it really is that good. And I don't know, because I haven't played it yet. I don't know, and I don't have a PS5, but you know, I think when I do, I think I'll find something, but I haven't found anything. I'm like, oh wow, I haven't found any negatives with this. Like it
Mhm.
seems like all positives.
See, and I was thinking that playing the new Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
because
yeah, I
like
want your take on that too.
I don't think it's that great. I like
Oh, really?
I really I really enjoy it because like 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 I said, at Origins they really like kind of split. It was more so like the linear story. The earlier games was more like a linear story, and they kind of give you like a puzzle sandbox, and like that is where you can kind of like roam around. Whereas Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, they like really just blew up the world, and you can go and do whatever. And it's more of like an open world RPG. And this game, they like really shrunk the world, and they really like pared it down. And I think also playing like the older games right before this one came out, I was like, it feels like a updated older game. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
playing the older games, I'm like, oh man, like some of this shit is annoying. Like just some of the free running is like it's like not very smooth. Whereas like the
Yeah.
movement in Spider-Man is like so fluid and so like, and
And that's what
I
I'm noticing is that, especially what they say is that like you can move very fast in the game, and so I've just been watching, and then
yeah,
I
with the
played a little bit
wingsuits and
of the first one because I had the DLC stuff, and I was like, no, that like this person's like they're flying, they're going, like it's insane how quick and how agile you move.
so do you, so having played the first one like recently, are you noticing like, oh yeah, it is a little slow, like traversal's a little slow, or are you like,
Sometimes, or like I accidentally like will run into buildings, or like I can't swing on things, or like you just get into a spot where you can't do something, and then I'm like, oh, that's annoying. Like,
see, and that's what I feel like that's what I've noticed with Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, it's not
really?
it's not bad, but like because I feel like the game's built out for so long that they gave you so many tools. And this game they really were like, okay, we're gonna cut it so far back and make it what I really feel like they did is I feel like they remade the first game because I mean it takes place almost in the same time period. It's like a couple hundred years off. But like so you don't have like a gun, you don't have all these different kinds of like specialty equipment. You really just have like throwing knives, smoke bombs, and like one blade. And they like
Yeah.
really made the melee, like the hand to hand, like the combat. They made it shitty. Not that they
Really?
made it shitty, but like they really wanted it to be an Assassin's Creed stealth game. And the stealth is really good, but like the combat is like
Right. Right.
not
It
good.
doesn't do both.
Exactly. And I like that they did that because it's like a throwback to an older game. It's like the older style, but then I'm like, oh my god, it is kind of annoying because it's you can't do both.
Because yeah, now that done you've done more, it's hard to go backwards. So I
Yeah.
feel like the same way with when I was watching a little bit of like the new Jedi Survivor, because it's very similar where they've created more like stances instead of just like a one blade and then like a double blade. Now they have the double. You can
Can't you blast her
like
too?
two in your hand. You can have one and then a pistol kind of a thing, like a blaster in your hand. I was like, oh my god, like there's so many more things that they've added to this one that are cool, you know.
Have you okay? And I meant to ask you earlier because you like a single player story. Have you played Ghost of Tsushima?
No, but I've heard that one is very good.
Amazing, amazing. It, like just from like take the gameplay out. I mean, the gameplay is beautiful.
Like the story, you
The
mean?
story, no, like the story alone, I was like, holy shit, this is such a cool
Really?
samurai movie. Like it was
Okay.
just badass, and like even on the PS4, it was beautiful.
Okay.
And then it's a bunch of like, there's 4 different stances, and I feel like they did a really good job because it was super manageable.
Okay.
Because I never played the Jedi Survivor, but like with the stances, I'm sure it's sort of similar. The different stances for different enemies.
Because I think that's why I got like frustrated and I stopped playing it for a while. The first one, Jedi Fallen Order or whatever it's called. I felt I couldn't get the combat right, and maybe I just didn't put enough like effort into it because I was just kind of like playing passively. So I was just like, okay, like I'm not getting it. I'm dying a lot. Like I'll just put it to the side. Like same thing. I think I did the same thing, and I haven't gone back to it. Like the remake of the Final Fantasy VII because I like that story, but like I was just like kept getting stuck on one part. But yeah, if it's very fluid and like yeah, like you said, like easy to manage, that like even on a normal level you can still get somewhere and still like gain some things and progress through the story. I'm like, oh okay, like this is actually fun and it's not very technical.
Yeah, and I felt with Ghost of Tsushima, I feel like it was every button on the controller was used, and like I felt like after putting it down and picking it back up, it like it's not intuitive to like just learn, but like after messing with it for like 5 minutes, it's like, oh okay, yes, I do. It's
Remember,
the Ghost of Tsushima. If you're looking for a single player story game, that is really good. Have you played The Last of Us too?
No, I haven't played that one.
Oh my God,
I'm not
those
into the because
the
isn't
post
that more like a zombie kind of a like apocalyptic kind of a
yeah,
thing?
it's like
So
post-apocalyptic.
after watching like Walking Dead, I'm like, okay, I don't really want to do that with like video games, but I'm sure it's good because I've heard a lot that it's good.
Then yeah, then
I don't
you it's like
know.
the second game was so brutal. It's honestly kind of depressed me. I was like, damn, this is like
I think that's why, like,
bleak.
after watching like Walking Dead, I was like, okay, now this is kind of like really like. I think after like 3 or 4 seasons, I was like, hey, this is just more like depressing, and I felt like I would like get like nightmares. I was like, no, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Then yeah, never mind. Then you would not like The Last of Us because The Last of Us 1 was really good, but it was like pretty tough. And then the second one, I feel like they just like knife in the back, just like the whole game is just like we're gonna keep fucking making you feel worse and worse. It was
Oh
such a good
god.
game. Oh my God.
But see, this is why I think you should play the Uncharted series. Like, I think you would really like those ones.
I'm definitely gonna check out Uncharted, and I like when I come for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna bring you the Ezio pack.
Oh,
So
you're gonna
you
bring that?
yeah,
Okay.
so you can play Assassin's Creed whenever you want to hop into it. Because honestly, the I think that's the other thing that I like have also thought was kind of weird with this game. The like story is like meh. It's like assassiny enough because I really love like the world that they built, but like the second, third, and fourth game, which is like the Ezio trilogy, has such a great story. I feel like the character's really good, like the way that they build the world is really really good, and then it just like completely goes off the rails.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll I'll have a because normally that's the other thing. I normally like to end the month with like a present for the person who did it because like
Oh, that's nice.
I appreciate you giving me your time and like
Oh yeah.
doing this. This is
Right.
because this is fun. This is fun for me. Like doing all of this and like it is fun to like hang, but I understand it's like it's a time commitment and
Yeah.
so I just appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
And Steve, I don't really know how to end this, so
See, I was nervous to go on these before because I didn't want to like mess something up, and now I'm like, no, this is actually really fun.
oh no, it's so chill. The person who messes it up is me because I'm trying to do too much. And this time I was like, it'll be chill. And then I was like, oh man, I gotta record with Steve. Fuck, I don't have any of my stuff. But I think it was good. So thank you to the month of figuring it out. And
Good.
I'll see you on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah, Steve.
Oh, that's
So
fine.
have a good day. Peace, love, and I will see you.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you later.
All right, peace, bro.